Hello, students. Welcome to part 4 of the chapter Electoral Politics, class ninth CBSE. Now, this slide talks about election campaign. As you know, the main purpose of elections is to give people a chance to choose their representatives, the government, and the policies. Now, this is what happens by election campaigns. In Indian elections, campaign take place for a 2 week period. Now, this is the period between the announcement of the final list of candidates and the date of polling. In this period, the candidates contact their voters, political leaders address meetings, and mobilize their supporters. In election campaigns, political parties try to focus public attention on some big issues. They try to attract the public by their announcements. Some of the successful slogans that were given by different political parties in various elections are Garibi Hatao in the Lok Sabha elections of 1971 by the Congress Party, Save Democracy by the Janata Party under Jai Prakash Narayan in 1977, Land to the Tiller in the West Bengal Assembly elections in 1977 by the Left Front, and of late, Sabka Saath Sabka Vikas by the BJP. Now, here we talk about our code of conduct. According to our election law, no party or candidate can bribe or threaten voters, appeal to them in the name of religion, use government resources for campaigning, spend more than 25 lakhs in a Lok Sabha constituency or 10 lakhs in an assembly election. Now, all the political parties have agreed to this model code of conduct for election campaigns. According to this, no party can use a place of worship for election related things. No government vehicles can be used for elections. And once elections are announced, no functions like foundation laying of projects or policy decisions can be taken. Now, the next topic is polling and counting of votes. The final stage of an election is the day when the voters cast their votes. Now, this day is usually called the election day. Every person who is eligible can go to the polling booth, usually located nearby. Once he goes inside the booth, the election officials identify him, put an ink mark on their index fingers, and they cast their vote. An agent of each candidate is there inside the polling booth to ensure that voting takes place in a right way. Now, earlier the voters used to use the ballot paper. Now, what is a ballot paper? A ballot paper is a sheet of paper on which the names of contesting candidates along with the party name and symbols are listed. But now the things have changed. Today we have switched to electronic voting machines, the EVMs. Now they are recording the votes now. Now this machine shows the names of candidates and party symbols. Independent candidates too have their symbols that are allotted by the election officials. All that the voter has to do is to press the button against the name of the candidate he wants to vote for. Later, all these EVMs from a constituency are opened and votes are counted. The candidate who gets the maximum number of votes from a constituency obviously is declared elected. After the counting, all the results are declared and it becomes clear as to who is going to form the next government. The next slide talks about as to what makes elections in India democratic. Children, we hear a lot about unfair practices in elections. Newspapers and television reports often refer to such allegations. Now, these include inclusion of false names, exclusion of genuine ones, misuse of government facilities, excessive use of money, intimidation of voters, and rigging on the day of the polling. Now, all this has changed since we had a charismatic election commissioner, Mr. T.N. Seshan. Post the Seshan era, the election commission has become a 3-member commission. In our country, elections are conducted by a very powerful and independent election commission. Now it enjoys the same kind of independence that like the judiciary. The chief election commissioner is appointed by the President of India, but once appointed, the chief election commissioner is not answerable to the president or the government. Even if the ruling party or the government does not like what the commission does, it is virtually impossible for it to remove the CNC. Now, what does the election commission do? It takes decisions on every aspect of conduct of elections. It implements the code of conduct of elections. The EC can order the government to follow some guidelines to prevent the use and misuse of government powers. Now, this slide talks about the various powers that have been used by the Election Commission of India to ensure free and fair elections in the country. These are typical headlines that have been there in newspapers and across the sections of media, showing how the Election Commission has behaved in different conditions that have arisen during elections in India. Now, this slide talks about the various powers that have been used by the Election Commission of India to ensure free and fair elections in the country. These are typical headlines that have been there in newspapers and across the sections of media, showing how the Election Commission has behaved in different conditions that have arisen during elections in India. Now, this slide talks about the acceptance of election outcome. The final test of free and fair elections is the outcome itself. If elections are not free and fair, the outcome always favors the powerful. In India, the ruling parties routinely lose elections both at the national and state level. About half the sitting MPs and MLAs lose their elections. Candidates who are known to have spent money in buying votes and have criminal connections often lose elections in our country. The electoral outcomes here are usually accepted as people's verdict by the defeated party. Now, this shows how strong the roots of democracy are in India. Now, the next topic is challenges to free and fair elections. The overall verdict of a general election reflects popular preference. There are very few exceptions to this rule in our country. That is what makes Indian elections democratic. We still have certain challenges like candidates and parties with a lot of money enjoy a big advantage over smaller parties and independents. Candidates with criminal connections have been able to secure a ticket from major parties. Some families dominate the political scenario. Tickets are given to relatives from these big families. Elections offer little choice to ordinary citizens since major parties are quite similar in policies and practice. These challenges do exist not just in India but also in many established democracies. Hence, citizens, social activists, and organizations have been demanding for reforms in electoral processes time and again. Now, look at the cartoon on this slide. This is an accurate picture of what happens to a voter before and after elections. It shows that before elections, voter is the king and every politico tries to woo him just to secure his vote. And tomorrow, after the elections, he is left to fend for himself. And the politicos walk over to their respective houses as honorable members of houses. Now, children, this system and this situation has to be reformed. Thank you.